Hello. Hmm. Ah, right. Two of Cups fell out. The bottom of the deck was the Sun, is the Sun. That's a good combo. What's at the top of the deck? A process. Mental tension, anxiety. We lose the win. We lose ourselves in a process of static. Can be for egoic or creative expressions of old dynamics, loops of process. All right, so I'm looking at the chart here. Welcome to Virgo season. We have the sun at 0 degrees Virgo. Now, thing that's significant about this part, this portion of the sky, and I'm doing Western tropical here, I feel the closer the system is to my felt presence of experience, the more language I have in resonance for the feelings I hold, which are becoming realized through life. So this system, its imperfection is perfect for me. I would rather be strong in my ignorance than weak in conviction. And that's the difference between static and dynamic. Ignorance can only be creative. It can only be authentic. Can only be reality. Can only be perceived in real time through the felt presence of experience. Otherwise, it is received as a static. But I digress. We're all coming from and through different experiences which give us these beautiful differences in perspective. And the reason our perspective is meaningful is because we all have different perspectives. That's the unity of the diversity thing. Once we become mono perspective, then we have fallen into static, hive, artificial mind. But that's iconic possession for another day. Let's get back into this 0 degree Virgo with the sun. Now, Regulus, a fixed star, which of course isn't fixed, it's just slower fading static, so it changes with time. Back in 2012, Regulus went from Leo, where it had been for a very long time. It moved into Virgo, 0 degrees Virgo. This is a huge energetic signifier. This is what the prophecies, the Mayan prophecy of the end of the age. This is a new age. Every close is a beginning. So we have this new energy rising through the psyche in existence. It's easier to see how corrupt things have been for most people now. The problem isn't in the data, it's in the digestion of what is the value. Does it destroy you or does it raise you? Does it raise you in a way where you burn down or where you burn down and rise up through that purification? So it is a harvesting of spiritual energy. And it's the culmination point. Castigations are being burned away. So do you reduce yourself to the ash of some other narration and become edifice to that because you've got Netflix and beer or wine or whatever placation? Or do you rise through that realizing, well, ignorance is required to grow, so it's okay, I made mistakes. I'm learning my value. And what is value? What can you feel? What will you allow? So Regulus, the royal star, becoming the purity in action, it requires the ignorance of letting go of the castigation. All the power you hold in persona, it's in relation to the games of entrainment. The power is there, but it is being regulated to that expression. So how do you bring it back in to be an expression for the service of yourself? How do you realize bringing heaven to earth isn't about utopian dream, it's about living your best life here now, getting into the felt presence of experience and honoring life as a gift. And how can you culture that, nurture that? How do you apply that where you can harvest the goodness of life rather than the detritus of denials? And we're all coming through these realizations. And it will be through the lens of wherever your attention is. You know, if you are a workaholic or you've got some career or business or something you're trying to do, you might read these energies through those processes. If it's about denying or releasing all that, you could feel it through modalities, teachings, beliefs, new beliefs, which allow you to release that kind of stuff, to hold space for something authentic, new, a co-creative through the ignorance of the unknown. So the yod here with the sun, Pluto, and Neptune is very powerful. We're still in the square with Uranus. Uranus representing the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, and Mercury is going to go back to 21 degrees of Leo here before it goes direct on the shadow path. Shadow path, it's kind of like you waking up in the middle of the night or in the early morning and your fire alarm's going off. So you just got to turn it off, and you can't really focus or see straight yet, but you know where things are. So you're just bumping around. You're waking back up. That's what the shadow path is to me. You're starting to see the gray and the light through the shadows. Sides of the path are becoming more obvious, and where it's leading is becoming more obvious. But I digress. So we've got the Mars-Venus square going on right now as well, both in mercurial signs. So if you look at that last area of Capricorn Aquarius, you get a sense of how you can capitalize on the square between Mars and Venus. The information you know and the information you don't know. There's a feeling within you. It's in the language of the unknown. The language you know never holds you to growth. It holds you to conviction. And the conviction is what you transform with your awareness through life. So being in service to your value, knowing that the unknown is got peaks and valleys, but if you are aware of heaven and earth being an opportunity to live your best life, and everything else that comes up will always be coming up anyway, so honoring who you are through your actions, your deeds, and allowing your ignorance to continue to teach you, that's going to be very beneficial for you in these times, I feel. Now the moon is in a new phase conjunction with the North Node as I speak. I'm speaking of new phase energies. It is unknown. It's this eagerness to realize, to become, to create. And the North Node is Rahu. It is the North Node of the moon itself at the deepest level. And Rahu is the head of the dragon, of the serpent, the spirit. It is what gets you out of bed. It is the drive which pulls you, the urge, the desire which pulls you into form. And you are tested with what you've digested in Ketu, what you have experienced, the knowledge of your experiences. You're tempering awareness and wisdom through applied living with the nodal energies. So this new phase moon, emotional language, and it's kind of language, it doesn't give you definitives, it gives you impulses, instincts, nudges, pulls. If you can trust in that, then you know that you're valuing yourself. And the valuing yourself, it can be realized through understanding where you've been, what you've gone through, what you've come through, and knowing that that's not the only charge to hold. There's this creative progression energy, this creative charge. And in applying what that is, you balance yourself out through the compromise of Capricorn Cancer, the relation to the family, the genetics, the epigenetics, and the ideologies which are battling for your cult-like orientation to bring you into resonance. So knowing the value of the self in your process, you can enter into those things without the fear of being taken over by it completely. It doesn't say or doesn't tell you you won't be tested, tempered, or cultivated in the process, but it does tell you that you have a choice in how that happens. And so to choose for yourself is optimal, ideal. Now, Uranus is trining Venus and squaring the Sun still. Mercury retrograde, bridging the gap through your own rebellion, which is the changing of your value. Is bioengineered everything a good idea? Knowing the infallibility of single element possession, which is mind, which is a degeneration of a purity once known. So that we can realize we got to cut bait and create once again. So bring your Taurian value to life through Virgo with Venus here and the Sun use this time to your advantage. Nurture yourself. Get your routines in order so that they honor a progression rather than hold you to the binds of a static. I feel if you can get into that, you are making the most of these times and you are living an example for others that you might care about or they may care about you. So it's a win-win, essentially. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching, listening, and being.